This is Heartstock Radio, and I'm your host, Carol Murphy. Clark Grant is in the studio. Today, our guest is Bonnie Gringer, and she is the founder and CEO of Sharethelovely. Hello, Bonnie.
Hello, Carol. How are you? It's great to be here.
Where are you speaking with us from, Bonnie? Where are you located?
On the East Coast, in Georgia, near Savannah, Georgia. Historic Savannah, Georgia.
Oh, my goodness. Lots of things going on down there in Georgia.
Yeah.
It's an exciting place to be these days, I would imagine.
Oh, absolutely.
So, Bonnie, for our listeners, can you give them a little intro? What is Sharethelovely and what are you doing there?
Yeah, well, I'm really excited to be here after 10 months of bootstrap development. We recently launched. We're an online marketplace platform. We provide brides and bridal boutiques a range of sustainable products and services that meet, the ever-evolving needs of a new generation of bride without taxing her wallet or the environment. And this is without additional resources or investment to our retail partner network in our network. So supporting a bunch of different, values there.
And as fairly typical, you've had quite a varied background. And I'm always not so much surprised, but very interested in the fact that so many of our entrepreneurs have done many, many things before they launch into their own enterprise. What did you do before, and how did that lead to where you are now with Sharethelovely?
Well, that's a great question. I think probably I'll start out. Basically, Sharethelovely came out of my personal experience and my history. So it is an interesting story, I guess. I got married a few years ago to the man of my dreams, but it hasn't always been that dreamy. For a decade and a half, it was a really rough time for me and my family. I started a local support group that grew to over 200 members, actually. So when I finally found true love, I wanted to create, the wedding that represented this miracle that I found that I never expected could ever happen after such a time that I had. But I was on a really, very, very low budget, still in really bad shape from the past years of struggle and the issues that we were having. So I had to get really resourceful for my wedding. But I wanted the fairy tale wedding, just like any other bride. But growing up in the fashion industry, my family had a chain of off-price shoe stores throughout New York and New Jersey. Going to FIT and understanding the fashion industry, I figured there had to be a way to build my dream wedding and find the dress of my dreams. Similar to off-price, I knew that, weddings there are 2.5 million weddings in the U.S., and the dress and products are only used for a few hours. So I figured I couldn't really spend the average of $2,000 to $3,000 for a dress. It was out of my budget, as is with most Americans that are 65%, or that are 2 paychecks from bankruptcy. So I tried everything to find pre-owned wedding dress, and I figured so many weddings I could find that successfully. So I went out and was shopping in marketplaces online, which are the option to purchase pre-owned for the most part. And was really a struggle. I tried for weeks to set up appointments with past brides and, coordinating my schedule with their work schedule and where we're going to meet. And I don't know if you've ever tried a ball gown with a 5-foot train on the side of the road, but, we did everything from going to Walmart's to trying to meet different places to try and address. It just didn't work. And it was completely, after a month of trying this, it was just all epic fails. And, that's when I saw the weakest link and an opportunity to, make a difference. So that's pretty much my story and how I came to the idea of Sharethelovely. There's just a lot of challenges and opportunity and building the dream, wedding that's affordable.
I'm sitting here envisioning you in the parking lot.
Yeah, exactly.
Trying on this wedding dress over your clothes or some semblance there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I wish I could have filmed it. It would have definitely been a comedy.
And it would
at the time, though, it was very frustrating, though. Wasn't it?
I'll bet. And you mentioned FIT. This is your background, this is your training. Can you talk a little bit about that? I mean, what inspired you in the first place to go to Fashion Institute to get a degree? And was it fashion merchandising? What
Buying
did
and
you?
merchandising, yes. And I went from there into actually my start in this world of startups with the fashionmall.com at the dawn of the internet, with Ben Narrison. I was one of the first employees there. It was one of the first PPC models in the industry, and they went IPO
PPC?
and
What
yeah,
is?
paid per click
Gotcha.
model for
Mm-hmm.
advertising. And, I was involved in a bunch of startups. Some failed, some succeeded, like any startup, and also Fortune 500 companies. And then from there, I really, for the last, 15, 20 years, I've been in digital marketing, product development, content, SEO. But again, I had a really rough time for about a decade and a half. So my life and career sort of went on pause. Finally getting out of that has been a real challenge. My family has been really supportive of me starting this business. We kind of downsized, moved to the country to really, go for it and try and make impact. So it's
Mm-hmm.
been an interesting journey.
And were you located in New Jersey or New York at the time when you were thinking of launching this before you moved to the country?
We were actually in closer to the city of Savannah,
Oh, okay.
and we moved to the country about an hour from where we were previously in order to, because I was working full time. And in order to really move this forward, I was working on this part time at nights and weekends, but really to move forward with this, I needed to work full time, but needed to reduce, our costs. And we found a wonderful house for a foreclosure, and the whole family was, all for it. We found a really great school district, but it just was a lot of maneuvering, with a family and just getting married, making sure everyone had the, what they needed in the best of, so it's just been an interesting, journey in that way.
And then you had a little experience within your family's own business. It sounds like retail. Can you talk about that a little bit? Were there any
Yeah.
lessons that you learned, experiences
Oh, well,
valuable?
yeah, absolutely. That was my first, my first job was at my father's shoe store, Jerry's Shoe Outlet, and he had a bunch in New Jersey, New York, and that experience, just seeing him make deals with designers and manufacturers and getting closeouts and helping to provide these beautiful shoes, designer shoes at half price or less. And that experience just was one of the reasons I got into fashion. It was just something that I grew up in, and also New York, being in the garment industry was sort of, it's in your blood.
Indeed. And what brought you? I imagine it might have not have been a direct route to Georgia, but how did you go from New York, New Jersey to Georgia?
Yeah, that's another interesting story. I actually ended up going from New York to the West Coast. I was relocated by a company called Purchase Pro, another startup that went IPO but didn't last. But they moved me out there to work on their startup. And from there, I got married. Actually had a horse farm for a while. Unfortunately, got divorced. And then moved back closer to my family on the East Coast here in Georgia. So that's how I got here. Surprisingly, I never thought I would end up in Georgia. Coming from New York, big city. Although never loved New York, I'm more of a love nature and gardening, and that really didn't fit my needs personally. So I'm glad to be here on. I have land and my garden, and the kids run around, and I have a great neighborhood. And so that's how we got here.
Yeah, and that sounds great. So when did you launch Share the Lovely?
A few months ago, December.
And you bootstrapped up until that point?
Yeah, it's just been savings, credit cards, raising a little money here and there. We, took 10 months, customized Magento platform, with a marketplace. So it's been, and it was just me, really building this out, the branding, the marketing, the development of the marketplace. I have a team in India that I work with that have been incredible, Atlas Soft, and they've been wonderful, patient, and have gotten us here. Expected to just have a minimal viable product, but it's a lot more than that. It's really, fully functioning. It definitely needs work. It's like beta, basically. But I'm really happy with with the outcome.
And you said that you were able to raise a few funds. Do you mind sharing
Just
with
family? Yeah, family. Friends. I had pretty good credit at the time. It's challenged now because at this point I haven't been generating income, so it is a challenge right now because it's a very competitive market, and our business model is a very unique, innovative model that's reimagining bridal shopping, not just for the bride but for retailers that we're building into this network. So it requires educating a market, re-educating. But we're competing with the majors out there that are already established in the market on a different business model. So really marketing right now is a challenge, outreach, advocacy. So that's really what we're looking for right now to support the model that's going to help brides, but also equally help small businesses, retailers. Bridal boutiques have been struggling that have gone out of business at a rate of 10% in the last 5 years, and now probably 2 or 3 times that rate, with COVID. So building this network will really help so many in the value chain, the bridal value chain. So we're really looking for, we need, raise a good amount for marketing and outreach right now.
Let's talk about your model and your competitors. You mentioned that yours is different. Who are your competitors and how are you different from them?
That's a great question. Right now, what's out there are peer-to-peer marketplaces that are selling. We sell, we're resale, so pre-owned wedding dresses, but also overstock and, dead stock and samples from retailers and designers who are overstocked, which is often a problem. So we're helping them to get rid of that, to sell that overstock product. But what's out there right now for resale is peer-to-peer marketplaces. And they're great.
Can you explain that just a little? When you say peer-to-peer, maybe some of our listeners might not fully understand what that implicates.
Well, I guess it started with Craigslist and eBay. Now there's more niche. So there's like Once Wed, and there's some competitors in the bridal niche. But really what peer-to-peer is a bride selling to another bride through a classified ad. That's really what it is. So there is a lot of that out there right now, but the challenge for wedding dresses, they're a very unique fit. One size 8 could be a 12 in one brand, or like a 10 in another, or a 6. It's really hard to, first of all, to purchase such a unique and high-end product, costly product, from another bride that meeting them again is an issue. The validity of the product, so we're actually validating, qualifying, and verifying the product. That doesn't happen in a peer-to-peer marketplace. We're also providing that network try-on, that local try-on. So, brides are getting that. We're bridging the gap, basically. So brides are getting that online assortment, which they love, because they're spending 700 hours researching online, but then they go offline to make 85% of their purchases. That's a huge disconnect. So we're bridging that gap. We're providing that online assortment and efficiency with a local fitting. That's really key. Plus, a try before you buy. So they're not committing or purchasing and having to return anything. They're literally just making an appointment with our local network retailer, trying the dress on. If they like it, great. If they don't, they could try on other items at the store, or they can go their merry way and keep looking for that perfect, dress, the one that they end up purchasing. So it really is kind of reimagining the whole bridal shopping experience, without taxing your wallet or the environment, and supporting local community and small retailers at the same time.
Yes, I would like to delve into this some more. We're going to take our quick midway break here. We'll be right back with Bonnie Gringer of Sharethelovely. This is Heartstock. We are back now with Bonnie Gringer of Sharethelovely. I'm Carol Murphy, your host. This is Heartstock Radio. Thank you so much for listening. Hi again, Bonnie.
Hello. Hi.
So I get the impression, okay, there seems to be an extra element here. If I'm trying to sell my dress and I'm not a boutique, can I still do that on your platform?
Oh, absolutely. That's
how
one
does
of
that
our
work?
actually great values.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, brides are able to sell their dress through Sharethelovely a little bit differently. So some brides would like to sell through peer-to-peer marketplace and place classified ad and take photos, publish photos, description, take questions from brides, emails, figure out how they're going to ship it and or try to meet someone on the side of the road. But what we do for brides is we actually take the product hands-off approach. So it's concierge resale where we send them a package and they put their dress in. We arrange for a shipment, pick up the dress. We get the dress, clean it if needed, verify it, publish it, promote it, take calls from brides, really do the whole process. So a bride like myself, I don't like to sell individually. I love to have a marketplace, but picking calls at all different times at night, it's not for everyone. Not everybody wants to be or feels comfortable being a salesperson, or meeting a stranger on the side of the road. Not everybody feels comfortable or wants to do that. So we provide that service, that concierge experience. And there's no upfront listing fee either, which is nice. So where the peer-to-peer marketplaces typically take a fee up front to list, we're really based on performance. So when the product sells, we take a small commission.
Gotcha. And can you share a little bit? Do you have any partners or anybody that's helping you with this that you'd like to give a shout out to or share their information?
Oh, absolutely. Well, I have some co-founders and leads that started with us about 6 months ago. Kartik Ladd and Sheila Halali and Alice Tiffany. Again, Atlas Soft, my team in India, my heroes that helped me to develop this. My family, of course, who have been incredibly supportive and patient, through the challenges and the journey, have been great. And then I have our pilot retailers in Michigan and Ohio, Perfect Fit and Memories Bridal and Camellia Bridal here in Savannah and Noah Bridal in Omaha, Nebraska, and working on other retail network participants as we grow. So I want to thank everybody who's working on building out this, partnership-based business model, the sustainable business model with us, and providing the advocacy that we need.
And going forward, what lays ahead for your company? What are you envisioning?
Improving, the value chain, the bridal value chain, from the bride's perspective to local community and small retailers. Helping an industry through a partnership-based business model and branching out throughout the U.S., really building out each area. Because what we do is we are exclusive to a county, usually, depending on population. So we do exclusive relationships with the retailers. We also work with designers and manufacturers who are overstocked, but focus on the retailers. And we provide an exclusive relationship. So in Savannah, I have one retailer, Camellia Bridal. And, we usually create that exclusivity and promote their brand and their product, and we help them with online marketing and advertising, something that retailers have a hard time keeping up with and competing in the market right now. It's very difficult for small mom and pop shops. So we'll be growing that network out across America.
And I wanted to talk about the environment a little bit. How is this impacting from a sustainability standpoint? How is this translating into a better system for the environment?
Well, it's a big influence of ours. The fashion is the second largest producer of pollution. wedding dresses are probably one of the most wasteful in that sector. Just in pure volume for each product, the amount of fabric, and it's only used for a few hours, and then it's waste, ending up in landfills. The fabric of dresses traditionally are man-made fabric, so like petroleum, they take up to 1,000 years to biodegrade. So we're really trying to reduce that footprint and really keep the product in the market and out of landfills.
So this really relates to circularity. It
Yes.
sounds like.
Yes, absolutely.
How about other aspects of the whole wedding experience and shopping? Dresses, of course, a huge expense, but are there other items also that are part of your platform?
Well, we actually have it built out for these accessories and decor. Right now, we're focusing right now on dresses. The marketplace is built out for accessories and decor as well, but we're really going to just target dresses at this time.
And what's your timeline, you think? Can you talk a little bit more about that and how you make decisions about when that will all happen? I mean, this is always a challenge because there's the big picture view and then there's reality and how long it takes. It's a lot of work.
Well, right now, that's a good point. Right now, we're working really with our pilot retailers, which are dresses, and really testing out the model, our metrics, our conversion rates, our cost per conversion, cost per sale, and working in collaboration with them to promote and market this solution. We're hoping to reach certain metrics by mid-late summer to raise our first our first round. And at that point, we could really, really grow. The challenge right now is marketing on a shoestring is definitely tough. So we're trying to raise another friends and family round to really test the metrics and find out what our conversion rate is and what we need to get to that next milestone this summer. To work with a couple of angel investors that we've already spoken with that have given us what we need to reach in order to really work with them.
Mm-hmm. And all of this during COVID.
Yeah, exactly. And we launched not a great time, so many shutdowns, but that's really what got us really excited about trying to help, retailers who are struggling before COVID. 1 out of 10 were going out of business, now completely overstocked due to the shutdowns, So, some things happen for a reason.
Indeedy. So as more and more of us are making our purchases online, how will that impact your overall business moving forward? I would think that this is yet again another silver lining to the COVID cloud.
True, absolutely true. Staying at home or virtual weddings just created a boom in the e-commerce industry that was 5 years ahead of schedule in terms of sales just in 1 quarter due to COVID. I believe that's the metric. We offer that still, obviously, purchase and ship to your home, and that's obviously something we offer, but, we give the option, if you would like to, that pinnacle of the bridal experience, which is, with your bridesmaids and your mom and, your friends that go with you to the bridal boutique, with the seamstress there, because almost every dress needs altering, so it's kind of a one-stop shop and like a delightful experience that you've expected your whole life, with your family. So we're making that possible as well as the e-commerce shopping to sent to your home.
So we've got about 6 minutes left, and I was hoping you could talk a little bit more with us about what you've learned in this process. I mean, you've had such vast and interesting experiences previous to launching your business. Any advice and what have you learned?
Well, I'm still always learning every day. Every day is like a new start. You reevaluate, you wake up at 5 a.m, you re-strategize, a lot of pivots. You just got to be very, very flexible to, like with COVID, pivot with, unexpected changes or challenges. You just got to be insistent. Me and my team and family believe in this model as you are new pilot retailers in the network. I really feel this could make impact to so many. You just have to be completely committed for years I've been doing this, part-time mostly, and then committed myself full-time. But that's, I feel like that's what it's going to take, God willing, and with enough support and advocacy for both fundraising and through the industry, retailer industry, bridal industry. It needs more support, more outreach, and I hope that we'll get that support.
And you mentioned your software partner. Got about 2 minutes left. How hard was it to find that? A lot of the non-technical female founders that I've spoken with, this is a huge, huge challenge, is finding that key technical partner that can do the software part of it and build the site and all that good stuff.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I took months to decide. I went through the requirements definition process and went out for bids and went through a lot of discovery to find Atlas, to be able to, on my budget. And they were, there were ones that were less expensive, but finding the right partner that you truly trust. And, and I looked here in the US, I looked overseas, and I found them. And it was a challenge, because I built, I've been in product development and product management. So I've done this before, but to build out the whole thing myself with them, and I didn't have a CTO at them. Right now I have a technical lead that will probably become our CTO. But it was scary because I was putting everything into that.
Yes. And how might our listeners find you, Bonnie, if they have more questions or just interested in learning more about what you're up to? Absolutely.
That'd be great. Bonnie at sharethelovely.com. That would probably be the best place. At sharethelovely.com, there's also a contact us form. Yeah, so either way, we'd love to hear from you.
Thank you so much for sharing your story and for your gumption.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm glad to be able to talk about the mission. It's exciting, and I appreciate your help in spreading the word with us.
Indeedy. This is Heartstock, and I'm your host, Carol Murphy. As usual, we will see you next week. Peace.
Heartstock Radio is a production of KBMF 102.5 Butte America Radio. Hear our programs every Friday at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time via livestream at butteamericaradio.org.
As I went walking, I saw a sign there, and on the sign it said, "No trespassing, but on me